Hello, this is Mr. McLeod. This is the second part of the Destructo Baby demo, where in the first part we went over some things about calling static methods, doing loops, and keyboard input. So today, in this video, we will be looking at how to finish his destructive capabilities. So right now, if we hit run, we can move him around, but he doesn't actually destroy anything yet. So if you remember, we wanted him to destroy anything that he touches, except that he can't destroy grass, because grass will just come right back up. But if he smashes flowers, knocks down trees, this guy's a really strong baby, then he'll destroy them. So let's go ahead and go to the code. So this is what we had so far. After we get the keyboard movement, and then we move him, then at this point we could check to see, is he now touching one of the things that should be destroyed, and if so, we can destroy it. So to find out if we're touching any trees, we need to take a look at the actor class and see how can we find out if we're touching something. So there's a couple of ways to do this. One way is to you can see a whole bunch of methods here that some of these might be related, but the one that we're looking for here is get one intersecting object. So this will get you a actor that is of whatever class that you send here that is touching you. So this would be useful if you just want to get an actual reference to exactly one object that's touching you. If there's more than one object of that class touching you, it'll only return the first one that it finds. So we'll go over another way in the next part. So let's take a look at this one first. So get one intersecting returns an actor. So that means we could go back to here. That's that wonderful bug again. And we say actor. And let's say that if there is something there that is a tree, we're going to store it in an actor variable called tree. So we can say get one intersecting object tree. So the way to get a class object is you say the name of the class and then dot class. So tree dot class will get us the class object that will let Greenfoot know, let this method know that it's looking for only objects of that type that are touching us. Okay. Now there's two possibilities. Either it finds a tree or it doesn't. If you look at the API here, this says it returns an object that intersects this object. But notice, let's see, that's interesting. So apparently it doesn't say this in the API, but I happen to know that if you are not touching an object, it will return null. That's actually quite unfortunate that it doesn't say that in the API. I think that it should. But through trial and error, you would find out that if you don't do the following check, you will have a problem. you'll get null pointer exceptions if you try to do anything to tree without first checking that there is a tree. So you're going to have to say if tree does not equal null, that means we actually found a tree. Then we can do whatever we do when we have run into a tree. So the first thing we want to do is we want to destroy the tree. And by destroy it, in this case, we mean remove it from the world. So just like the world can add objects, the world also is what removes objects. So if we take a look at world, you can see here, remove object takes an actor and it will remove the object from the world. So let's call that. So remove object tree. Okay, so if I call it like this, remember that everything that we call is like who dot what, where who are we going to call this on, what are we going to call. If you don't say who, then by default, if you just say what, right, if you just call some method, by default the who is this, right? So that means that remove object would be the same as this dot remove object, which also means it's whatever is running the code right now, which in this case is a baby, which is an actor. And remember that we found remove object in world, so we are not in a world, so we can't just say remove object. However, in actor, there is up here a get world that returns the world that we're in. So that's exactly what we need. So instead of this or nothing, we can just say get world dot remove object, and then the world, we're telling the world to remove the tree. Okay, so that's one way we could do that. And so the other thing we're going to have our baby do is he's going to stop. So he does destroy the tree, but it actually it's hard enough to destroy a tree that it actually stops him. So we're going to go ahead and, in that case, set dx to 0 and dy to 0. So let's go ahead and run this code first and see how this works. So alright, we've got our area here. We hit run. As soon as I start doing keyboard movement, I'm running around. Ah! I hit a tree. It destroyed it. Ha ha! Destroyed you, tree! But everything else he ignores, right? Because it's not a tree. So only the trees he can destroy. Everything else does not get destroyed. Alright, let's go fix that, because there are some other things he should be destroying. So let's say we now want to check and see if he's hitting any flowers, because those should also be destroyed. And we're actually going to do that in a different way, just to demonstrate another way to check if we're touching something. So in the actor method, there is an isTouching, and it also takes a class. And this is useful if you just want to know if you're touching something, but you don't necessarily want to get a reference to it. So it's just returns a Boolean. So that means it's either true or false. You're either touching or you're not touching this type of object, and you don't care how many you're touching or which one you're touching. So you can just say if is touching, and we want flowers now, so flower.class. Then but now you might be wondering, well, hey, if we're touching a flower, we need to destroy it. But unlike this case, we don't have a reference to the flower, so how are we going how are we going to tell the world to remove it? So lucky for us, there's another method. So isTouching will tell us if we're touching something. And then, what do you know? There's this removeTouching, which will remove the first object it finds that is touching. So essentially, removeObject, my guess is it's implemented something like this, right? It does the get one intersecting, and if it is null, removes it. So that makes a nice convenience method. You can just say removeTouching flower.class. And technically you could even say this without the isTouching first, except that we want him to do something else in addition to removing the flower. So when he touches a flower, he is a little distraught that he destroyed this beautiful flower, so he kind of jumps back. So let's go ahead and reverse the dx. So whatever dx used to be, it's now the opposite. And whatever dy used to be, it's now the opposite. So he'll reverse his dy and dx after destroying the flower. Let's take a look at how that works. Alright, so we run here. He's running around. Destroy that tree. Notice he does not destroy the grass. Yay, destroy the tree. Let's go destroy a flower. He destroyed the tree first. Now he'll destroy the flower. And check that out. He bounces right off of that flower because he says, oh no, I didn't mean to destroy the flower. Boing. Boing. Alright. This is great. Destructo Baby is on a rampage. Is there anything? Yes, there was something I meant to come back to. So you know how I went over how to do isTouching and get one intersecting. There's also another way to do keyboard that I wanted to cover. So Greenfoot.getKey is one method, but there's also if we go to the Greenfoot class, you may have noticed this when I was doing the other demo, that you saw there's an isKeyDown. So isKeyDown just tells you whether the key is currently down. So this is actually in some ways maybe a simpler way to do it, because you don't have to store the key, first of all. You can just say, and you don't even have to check if it's null. Okay, you can just go straight into if, and it is still static. So if you look back here, all of these Greenfoot class methods are static. So it's still static. So you still have to say Greenfoot, but you can say if Greenfoot dot is key down, and then you're specifically asking, is this key down, right? So whatever string you send it. So if it is down, then do the same action, right? So up is dy -1, and we could just go through and actually copy paste the key equals and replace it with Greenfoot.isKeyDown for all of these. And that would give us another way to do movement. So let's take a look at how that works. So we hit run, and yay, we can still do keyboard movement just like before, but now we're using isKeyDown instead. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed the rampage of Destructor Baby and learned a lot in the process. And good luck in your future creations.